So, welcome back to the podcast, guys. Today we are joined by Joel Macaluso. Joel, welcome to the podcast.
Well, thank you for having me.
Why don't we start this by you telling us a little bit about yourself, Joel, and what you guys do?
Sure thing. I am one of the founders of a company called iMedia, and we are a digital agency based out of the United States. We are a 100% remote company now. We used to have an office in New Jersey, and then we decided to. A lot of companies go fully remote, so we have staff basically all over the United States, in multiple different areas. Personally, I'm in Florida at the moment, enjoying the sunshine and warm weather. And we are about 25 people at the moment. Our typical client is Fortune 500 companies. We do a lot of work in healthcare and financial. And we also do a lot of work in the performing arts. So large theaters and venues do a lot of work for those companies. And that's about it.
And looking back, were there any major steps that shaped your career?
Sure thing. I'm a developer. I've always been a developer. I don't code as much anymore, and probably that's a good thing. So because it's changing so frequently, but I still know how to use AI to kind of get me to what I need to understand. I had started off, I think, almost 30 years now, or over 30 years now, if you think about it, for how long I've been doing this. I started off in the industrial automation field. So I was working with electrical engineers doing plant floor automation startups. And my schooling was coding and development. Not knowing any better, I was bringing in things. I was building charts and graphs using Visual Basic back in the day, using data from plant floors, and building a lot of things that were new to that industry at the time. Database technologies that they weren't that weren't really using. So having batch information that was not just real time spit out to a printer, but also stored and retrievable. That was fun, but I wanted to move into more of the web industry as I started to grow. So I moved into there. But the point I'm trying to make here is that I took a lot of the real-time plant floor information to whatever I'm doing for validation on a pharmaceutical line is very important. So taking that information that we were able to use on a plant floor and migrating that in the early days of the web, there wasn't a lot of standardization, trying to make things really easy for people to use. And so if you fast forward now, because this is a long story, if I keep going for 30 years, my background in that allowed me to quickly have detailed conversations with the end client when I was probably younger than most people who were doing that. So I got kind of put into the fire right away, talking to the customer, making sure that I understood the requirements. And the thing that I've started with, and it's really kind of taken me through till today, is really understanding what the goals and objectives are. And that doesn't change, right? So there's always goals and objectives. And sometimes in our industry, a lot of people get bogged down with the specifics and therefore never get to the finish line, never get to the it's important to launch this site before September 1st because school year is starting and we need to make sure that students can enroll. Well, if you're worried about, certain thing, holiday schedule or something like that, then maybe you're going to miss the whole launch. So understanding what the most important parts are with any website, any web build, and making sure that we address them. Sometimes not always the fanciest way of doing something or the most award-winning way, but just making sure that the project gets done on time, on budget, and clients are happy.
I'm not sure if this is a coincidence, but you guys opened the same day that AIG collapsed.
And that is a very...
I know that most people at that time were running for cover, and you look at it, and it was the worst financial crisis, and
Yeah.
you said now's the time to start a business. Can you tell me more how that happened?
Me and my two business partners at the time were working for an agency that got acquired. And the acquisition seemed very promising, but the result of the acquisition, they wanted us to wind down our United States presence and basically fire everybody that was working for us and migrate everybody and start managing the offshore team. we just figured that was really not in our interest. And not only we not want to fire all good people that are working for us, we also figured we would be gone at that point. So we did what a lot of people do at the time, which was we went and got home equity lines and started our company. And if I had waited probably a month later, there would not have been any money to be given for home equity as a result of that crash and then the housing market changing. And so we got in so yes, it was very opportunistic, lucky, and just the timing was amazing. The issue is was good and bad, right? Because there was a lot of projects that stalled, a lot of people weren't spending, but a lot of competition started to leave the market, so that we were able to survive that first tough year, and then start getting clients where when we were a brand new company, people were taking a chance on us as opposed to maybe not if there was more people doing the work at the time. So the slight thinning out of the market, it really wound up helping us.
Mm-hmm. Really took the advantage. Okay,
Yeah,
that's nice. And from your seat, what has changed most in how clients buy and build these digital experiences nowadays?
great question. Early on, talking about 2010, 12, a lot of our work was CMS migration, so content management systems, going from one platform to another because the platform didn't have the capabilities that the client needed. So most of our work was locking in with a particular vendor or two and saying, okay, we're going to be the agency that is there for you, and we're going to understand how to migrate clients from any platform to your platform and be really successful doing that. Uh, WordPress is a very solid platform now. It's an enterprise platform, but early on when people were using it as an enterprise platform, and there was a lot of our clients were people saying, hey, we had some people building a site for us in WordPress. We got hacked. So now we need to go to an enterprise, off the shelf content management solution. So we used to get a lot of business in that respect. Today, CMSs are very advanced, and a lot of them are, obviously you can do a lot more things. We talk about composable or monolithic, still definitely a very good choice in certain circumstances, but they are almost commoditized in the sense that a lot of people are not as often switching from one platform to another. And the only time that really happens is if a platform is making a large migration to a new footprint, and you have to make a change anyway. You may decide if something else might be cheaper or more beneficial. But for the most part, a lot of our projects today are taking over development of an existing platform that we have experience in.
And Joel, when you look at the digital builds, what's usually the real root cause? Why does the build struggle?
Mm-hmm. I wish I knew that there was one answer to that, because then I would get it right every time. It seems like every project you do, there's always another thing that happens that you say, all right, next time this happens, I'm going to remember that and be better about it. But the reality is there's dozens of reasons why they fail. But there's always, a few specifics that I think are common throughout most of the bad launches. It's not First thing is not understanding the scope or not getting the scope from the client. It's very important to have the initial phases that you do with discovery and a definition phase, where you really dive into what is it that you really want to be built. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying before about getting clear goals. And then when you do all that and you have wireframes and you have Figma files that are exactly what the client wants, in that 2 months that have gone by, sometimes ideas change. Business moves really fast today, right? So there are people who you're working for, maybe they're not even there anymore, and it's a new group of people. Or the business has decided that they're going to focus on another product line or something like that. So making sure you can adapt to those kind of changes, very important. Scope creep is a big thing in these scenarios. When clients start to see what the possibilities are, the more you keep saying yes as a good partner, the more it jeopardizes the whole project. Most of our projects are fixed fee, so we have a commitment to a client, but we also have a commitment to our client, our company, and our employees to make sure that we don't get overburdened and lose money on a project. It's not good for anybody. But we do value our relationship with our clients. We always say that a lot of our projects will start off with a large scale web build and then migrate to monthly maintenance retainers. So we are a lot more accommodating when it comes to making sure that we can accommodate new scope during a build. We always try to make sure though that they understand the consequences, right? The more you say yes, the more you jeopardize a launch date, or the more you add complexity to something that may be require additional testing. So I would say, yeah,
Mhm.
scope creep and just making sure that the alignments are that you're aligned on the scope. Biggest problem though is a lot of times when we're responding to an RFP, you don't have the opportunity to ask the questions about all the features. You can only ask so much, and then you have to put a price in front of them and hope they pick you, right? So that kind of becomes you hope that you scoped it correctly to be in the beginning, and sometimes you just have to live with it.
Should be custom built versus what should be integrated or bought off the shelf?
That's a great question. It really depends on what they have, what platform they have. If it's a monolithic platform, meaning that all of the components, if there's personalization built in, if there's e-commerce built into the product, if there is multilingual capabilities, it's pretty much saying, giving the client an understanding that this is what you bought, this is what you have, and we can customize to a degree. If it is a composable architecture where we're looking at best of breed solutions, we might be picking a certain product for personalization, another product for a dam thing. Then it's really up to us to make sure that the integrations are there. We a lot of times with customization, we do a lot of customization, but it's not because of the product selections that we're picking, but a lot of times we are interfacing to an existing ERP or an existing customer system, and the customizations have to happen because just because it's not an off-the-shelf product, it's a homegrown solution that's storing their product data or their customer information still today. Um, and then that's really where the customization work comes in. But we try to make sure that we find a right solution that we can configure. And obviously, there's going to be coding no matter what you do, but limiting the amount of complexity for everybody. And also, for most of what we do, our clients own the code, right? So it's their code, so we have to make sure that they feel comfortable with what we build.
And looking at the rest of this year, Joel, what's your guys' vision at iMedia?
Great question. So we really think this is a great year for growth. I think there's been a lot of staleness in the market over the last couple of years. A lot of people were for a lot of reasons just not spending and investing in their technology. I think AI has helped people really get motivated and say, hey, we better start to understand where our business is, and whether that be through heavy use of AI or whether that just be through smart usage of AI when it comes to things like digital assistants, i.e. chatbots, and helping clients get their answers much more quickly and convert as fast as they can. That is something that we've been doing a lot of work with our clients in terms of GEO optimization and just understanding that when somebody does make it to your website, they better have a very good clear path to whatever action you want them to take. Because it's not. It used to be time on site was a huge metric. We wanted to keep people on your website for a very long time, and now it's the complete opposite. You want them to be quickly gone, but quickly gone after taking an action that the agentic agents and the LLMs have brought them there to do. As far as how we get to growth, we're doing a lot more outreach. We're doing a lot more things. So thank you again for on your podcast.
Of course.
And we've added some team members to help grow us into different markets and different areas. And the biggest thing is just to keep getting out there, keep talking to people. You may have 10 different conversations that go nowhere, but have 20 more because one of those 30 is going to be something that resonates. And you just have to be constantly talking and constantly being active.
That's great. AI is improving so fast. It's I can't even comprehend it.
Yeah,
So it's crazy. Good year for growth, I would say.
absolutely.
Okay, Joel, thanks for joining the podcast. And I will leave links so people can check you out or iMedia if they would like. And we will see you in the next one.
Wonderful. Appreciate you. Thank you for having me.